Now, speaking of closeted men, in Chapter 11, you talk about your friend Matthew, who you used to hang out with. And at one point, you and he were talking about gay people, and you told him you couldn't imagine kissing another guy.
Yep.
You write, he looked you in the eye and said, "Of course you can."
Yep.
And at the end of this chapter, you reveal that your friend Matthew is Matt Drudge.
Yeah.
You're outing Matt Drudge in this book.
I'm not out. How's that outing him? I don't say one thing about him. I don't say anything about
Okay,
who
okay.
he's with or what is.
I'm just throwing in my own, editorializing.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just.
What was it like for you seeing who he then had become, having known him years ago?
Really just the experience I think a lot of people have of, maybe somebody they used to hang out with when they were 18 or 19 and just being sort of, a little bit shocked and amazed and stunned at what that person has become in the world.
But he's telling you that obviously you were still at that time, the whole idea of kissing a guy was an issue for you.
Yeah, very much so. Even though I was, deeply in love with all sorts of high school friends.
But that was your own homophobia, right?
Well, it was my own if you want to put it that way, but it was my own not just being in touch, ready to.
Right. I mean, and a lot of people have been through that.
Of course, yeah.
But Matt Drudge was actually telling you, no, you can be comfortable. Was that coming from a place of experience?
I have no idea, but it was one of those things.
Well, wait, he was your friend.
Right, but no, let me finish, though. I really have no idea where that was coming from, but it was one of those amazing moments. I think people have moments where maybe somebody's able to see something in you that you're not quite ready to see yourself, and by saying that, it was almost like, he was making that okay for me and kind of, in a way, almost giving me permission to be myself. So that's why that's something I'll always remember. I can even remember the street it was on. It was on a street in Jersey City. I remember it like it was yesterday. But, again, that wasn't a thing about, it was something he was saying about me. It wasn't something that he was saying so much.
But how were you friends? How were you hanging out together?
We were hanging out together nonstop. We were hanging buddies. I mean, the thing about it that was interesting is, Matthew was always one of those people that was just obsessed. Well, I've never called him Matthew.
Where did you meet him?
I think we met like in a record shop or something. Honest, when people because we were both obsessed with music, and there was there's this great record store in D.C. called 12-Inch Dance Records. It's no longer there, but you could kind of hang out and listen to music and stuff, and I think we met there and through a mutual friend. But then we just started hanging out all the time because Matthew was always one of those people who was obsessed with the news and obsessed with just any kind of minutia. At this point, it was much more about the entertainment.
And he knew you were a stripper. Did he come see you?
Oh, no, this was way before that. This was
before
like
that.
10
Okay.
years before that. Yeah, this was back in the 80s. This was, when Madonna was still singing about, like,
right.
Papa Don't Preach and stuff. So anyway, so we just started hanging out, and he would go to the newsstand almost every day and, like, write down all the news that happened and everything. And I was one of the few people that could tolerate that because it would get on most people's nerves. But he could call me anytime, day or night, and tell me about some weird, going on at CBS News or with the record charts or something, and I would listen.
Wait, now you never got a sense of him, like, did he have a girlfriend? Or?
No. I never really saw him with anybody, to be quite,
But he never talked to you about himself?
No, but in the way that I think a lot of guys just hanging out, you just talk about a zillion things, but it just doesn't even, that kind of thing doesn't even come up. It wasn't really evasive or anything like that, but it honestly just really didn't come up, and I wasn't seeing anybody. And
you were still sort of uncomfortable yourself.
Exactly. So the last thing I probably would not want to bring up a whole lot of talk about, relationships and that type of thing because I wasn't ready to face who I was. So it was a perfect friendship. So we hung out, all the time, day and night, but we really didn't talk about a whole lot of personal things. That's why that moment that you mentioned earlier was so significant because that was one time when we actually did cross the line a little bit.